Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra Kane. I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. Hope that you all are having a great day. The purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, thank you so much to my wonderful moderators for all that you do. Love and appreciate you for that. Today, we're going to be having a conversation. Now, listen, I need y'all to put on your thinking caps and all of that. I don't mean to make anybody mad. I just want to make us think. But we're going to be talking about Black Americans bragging about not attending No Kings protest as not a flex anymore. And of course, that is a very loaded title. And I will get into all that I mean by that title. Of course, you know that yesterday was a giant No Kings protest. And I'll get into all of that in case you live under a rock and you have no idea as to what I'm talking about. One who cares, how you doing? Clifford, what's going on with you? Bill Lacey in the building. How you doing? He says, I know you want to be out there with folks laugh out loud, hell to the no, rather be doing what I'm doing. Oh, well, you know, we'll get into that. Dear self, how you doing? Yvette, how you doing? Beverly White, Scatman, Mr. Ernest, how you doing? Michelle, Vanessa, S. Williams, and Troy. Donovan, how you doing?
I am doing great. Last I checked, it was 20-8. My Dallas Cowboys are up. The Eagles snuck by with the win, and we are ahead of the Commanders right now, which is very influential in the NFC East. The Giants right now, I think, are beating whoever they're playing. So the most competitive division in football, in my opinion, is the NFC East, because those teams hate each other and they could beat each other at any time. But anyway, welcome to the Demetra K Show, you guys. Great to have you guys back. We know you guys could be doing 101 other things, like watching the Dallas Cowboys, but you're here with us in the Demetra K Show. Oh, and by the way, Demetra K, you didn't say anything about my jersey. World Series, the Dodgers are back, because we're about championships. That's right. We are about championships. So LeBron, get you off my team. Anyway, thank you guys for coming with us on this fabulous conversation. Look at the bottom there. We got a scrolling banner. If you guys want to continue to have these great conversations and motivate the content creator, there's ways you can do it. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Cash, Money Order, however you guys want to do it. Also, we are really, really pushing the African Diaspora app. You guys, next year, I believe it's going to go up in price again. So now is the time to get that Christmas gift, that knowledge gift to those young people, to your parents, to your grandparents, so they can see actually what is going on in the African diaspora. You can get that Google Play, Apple Store, download it. Not only do you get the great content that you see on YouTube, you also get original content that you will not see on YouTube from people like Vicky Dillard, Wongale, of course, Brother Phil Scott, and this lady right next to me, Demetra K. And these are shows and topics that you will not see in your algorithm. It is specific to the app. So if you guys are interested and you want to stay on top of what's going on all around the world in the diaspora, the African Diaspora News Channel app is the way to do it. Google Play, Apple Store. This is a interesting conversation. I don't know what you're talking about, because I didn't see any mass protests here in California or anything like that, other than the usual ICE patrols and all that other stuff going on. So what are we talking about, Demetra?
Well, I'm glad that you asked. And hello, everybody. So let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. So as you guys may or may not know, there was a thing called the No Kings protest. Now, it says, according to event organizers, nearly 7 million people participated in the No Kings protest that occurred on yesterday. Now, it says these demonstrations took place in more than 2,700 locations across all 50 U.S. states and in several other countries overseas. The turnout, the attendance of nearly 7 million people was higher than the first No Kings demonstration in June of this year. And I happened to be at that one when I was visiting in California. I did not go to the one this year, but I had boots on the ground in California. So I'll show y'all some pictures and just a few. But it says organizers estimated that drew 5 million people. It is considered one of the largest single-day mobilization in recent U.S. history. So that was the one yesterday, 7 million people. Now, the rallies were a protest against the Donald Trump administration and its policies, which demonstrators characterized as an authoritarian, say that 5 times, and a threat to democracy. Now, concerns included the administration's immigration tactics, the deployment of federal troops in cities, and budget cuts. Most protests were peaceful, and no major violence or large-scale arrests were reported by police in major cities like New York, Chicago, Austin. And organizers emphasize a peaceful and celebratory mood, sometimes featuring costumes, music, and a street carnival vibe. Now, demonstrations drew large crowds in major metropolitan areas, including New York City, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles, but also took place in thousands of smaller towns and suburbs. The protests occurred amid a week-long federal government shutdown, and weeks-long, rather, because this is going on, I think, week 3 or so. And the ongoing tension over Trump's policies, including his use of federal agencies like immigration and customs enforcement, so ICE, in Democratic-led cities. Presidential response: while away at his Mar-a-Lago resort during the demonstration, President Trump dismissed the protest. He also shared memes, which I will not share because it's kind of gross, depicting himself as a king and a pilot, which were received negatively by protesters. Now, it should be said, in this particular video, he was some sort of a pilot, and he had all the gear on, and he's playing Danger Zone from Top Gun. And in that jet or fighter plane or whatever it was, he's dropping feces. Okay, he's dropping feces all over protesters all over the United States. It's really disgusting, right? And he, I guess, reposted it, and several other people reposted, so it was kind of gross, right? So anyway, as you heard, about 7 million people showed up, and so I see a lot of people saying it wasn't a success. That's considered a success. 7 million people in one day is successful, regardless of what people say. I know people, it was, okay? Now, I did some research to see what was the largest protest in recent history, and it should be said that BLM in 2020, when George Floyd was murdered by Derek Chauvin, they said about 26 million people worldwide protested. And then Earth Day is the second largest at 20 million, and No Kings October, so yesterday, at 7 million, and No Kings in June at 5 million, then so on and so forth. Now, to what I was going to say, actually, let me show y'all the pictures to kind of illustrate what I'm gonna say. So there's no music or nothing, just pictures. So as you can see there's really not a lot of Black people there at all, except for the one that was taking the footage for me. But that is San Francisco, and as you can see, again, there's not a you don't see any Black people there, but it should be said that there's not really a lot of Black people left in San Francisco. So that might have a lot to do with it. Okay, so that was just kind of a gist of what was going on there in San Francisco. Now, to my point about Black Americans bragging about not going to the No Kings protest, not being a flex anymore. Now, listen, I'm not going to no protest, whether it's a No Kings, no Queens, no princesses, no whatever it is. I'm not going, okay? So I want to say that up front. But I hear and see a lot of us bragging about it. It's like, okay, great. We're not going to the protest. And I've seen a lot of narratives say, oh, this protest needs to be without us is not successful, or they need Black Americans to be involved in this protest. And it's like, what do they need us to do? What do they need us there to do? Now, it should be said that when we do show up to these protests, we do, get some things that other people do not get, right? We get the rubber bullets and the real bullets and a whole lot of other stuff, right? They really kind of turn up, which is why a lot of times, especially now in the last protest, they can largely brag about it being peaceful, right? Because largely we are not out there. But when I hear people brag about, oh, well, they needed Black Americans, or Black Americans are not there, I automatically think, well, Black Americans, while we're not there at these protests, we ain't protesting for ourselves nowhere. What are we actually doing for ourselves, right? We're talking about, oh, we're not at this protest, so what? So what are we doing? Are we saying, okay, we're not going to protest the No Kings thing or whatever, ICE or whatever? Are we protesting for ourselves? Now, we know one of the most successful protests, which kind of in a sense backfired against us, was that of the 63 whatever it was, bus boycott there in Montgomery, Alabama, where our people protested for over a year, and they got the bus lines because they didn't want to sit in the back of the bus and stuff like that. Allegedly, Rosa Parks kicked it off, but it was Clovette, I can't think of her name, but anyway, it was a 15-year-old who actually kicked it off. But then eventually the bus companies acquiesced and say, okay, Black people, we won't make you sit in the back of the bus. But as Dr. Claude Anderson tells it, we actually bankrupted some of the Black bus lines, right? So that's why I said kind of backfired. But that's kind of the most recent one I think we can point to where we can say, all right, we got people or something to stop or do what it is we want them to do. Now, of course, we always talk about economic protesting because that's the one I'm down for. I'm not going to be outside protesting, no kings out, the boots on the ground. I'd rather do it economically, and not even just with Black Americans, but all those people, imagine all those 7 million people that was out there yesterday decided for a week. We're not buying nothing, even for a day, right? It wouldn't do a lot and do something and be short term, but it would send a message. But as we as Black Americans, we keep bragging about what we're doing and what we're not doing. Well, it was evident what we're not doing for ourselves, right? So again, as I see us keep bragging about this, it's kind of embarrassing if you ask me. Well, we wasn't out there. So what was you doing? What were you doing when you weren't out there protesting? I'm not telling you should be protesting because, like I said, I'm not. But what were you doing? Were you at the mall? Were you at the movies? Were you spending money with the oppressor? Were you digging in your pockets and giving the same people that, you cry and talk about, which is true, but that's oppressors? Was you out there giving them money? Or was you strategizing with everybody else, all the other Black people who were not protesting? Were we sitting together talking about, okay, well, this is what we need to do. Let's pool all of our money together. Let's take our money out of the system this week. Let's do this, that, and the other. What were we doing? So that's why I said it's not a flex anymore to keep getting on these apps talking about what we wasn't out there. So what you wasn't out there? Was you being out there net benefit the Black Americans? If the answer is no, then be quiet, respectfully. Donovan?
Ditto. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, once again, they want us to put them first, but they put us last. Every time something is going on out there, we are expected as Black Americans to just sit. Wait. We know you guys need reparations, but wait a minute. The country needs this first. We got to do this first. Blacks, we know. You know what? We know you guys are treated bad. We know you guys are marginally, desegregated against and put to the side. We know all this, but you know what? The Asians need something first. Oh, the Afghans need this. Oh, the Russians. We've got to help the Russians. Black people. Now, democracy's at stake. We need the Blacks to come out and support. We put them first. They put us last. When is it going to stop? And like you said, it's not a flex to do that. I think Black people need to continue what they're doing. If you can't get out there and protest for yourself and do what you need to do for yourself, you got no business out there protesting for others. I'll give you a good example, and I'm not trying to hijack the topic here. The Voting Rights Act is being challenged in the Supreme Court right now as we talk. I think it's on the agenda coming up based on the redistricting in Louisiana. How many of you guys have heard of any Black legislators or representatives talking about it in the news, doing this, being upset? I'm talking about in general. I mean, just out there. MSNBC, whatever. They're almost silent. The CBC, no statement, almost silent about all of this stuff. This is something that's going to directly affect Black people. And yet we're supposed to put our issues aside that's important to us and go rally for a king. Is it not a king when you're Joe Biden and you mandate people to get injections in their arms without question or they're going to lose their jobs? Isn't that kingsmanship? Isn't that kingsmanship when you are arbitrarily telling people you can't go to work because this so-called C-19 is out there and whatever, you must wear a mask? Isn't that kingsmanship and stuff? It's all selective in how you look at it. But I think it is a doggone shame when you can get out there as a Black person for others people's issues and you won't do a damn thing for your own people's issues. But let's hear what you guys got to say about it.
Absolutely. And I just want to answer your question. I have the CBC actually did in like an hour. I think it was about an hour. And I actually watched the whole thing just to see what they were going to say. A bunch of nothing, to be honest with you. But they did speak out about the voting rights thing, you know, being in danger and all that other stuff. So I've seen Black people, politicians or whatever, speak out about it. Just in all fairness, I have seen it. Bill, thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you. In facts, not feelings. How you doing? Says peace and love, family. These marching will not change anything, just like it did not change U.S. from attacking Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam, and on and on. Absolutely. For me, I'm just baffled as to why people aren't talking about an economic boycott, because we're such consumers. And we just cannot imagine not spending money to have a good time or whatever, because at the end of the day, we don't, when I say we, I mean society in general, we really don't want it to cost us anything, because we don't want to come out of our comfort zone. You know what I mean? And one who cares, I mean, not one who cares, astrological thinker, how you doing? And y'all names are twisted around again, so y'all please forgive me. Maverick, how you doing? Skipping down, Brother Jonell, how you doing? And how is Chicago? And yes, this week marked the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March, and I did rewatch it again on the NOI.org webcast. Always amazing to listen to. And you know, he called for 1 million. He being the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan called for 1 million. It is said that it was over 2 million plus people, predominantly men, because that's who it was supposed to be, right? Showed up. So it was a glorious time in history. And as our brother Ishmael said, that speech is apropos even today, right? If you listen to it back then, it still rings true, especially with a lot of things that are going on. So, yes.
And I just want to say, I was literally at the Million Man March when that initially happened. I think I was there day 2, I believe it was. I still got my badge somewhere in one of my archives.
Absolutely. Emma, how you doing? It says Black people are resting. We have been doing the heavy lifting for a long time. Let them do it for a change. You know, I'm one of those ones, and how you doing, Emma? I'm really one of those ones that kind of push back on that. We have not really been doing the heavy lifting. Okay, I will concede one part. We've been doing heavy lifting, but it hasn't been for us. The heavy lifting has been for everybody else, which is why now people say we resting. Yeah, because we've been heavy lifting for everybody else. Now you have the, immigrants that's over here and everybody else that's benefited, especially from the Democrats, because that's who we overwhelmingly vote for. So resting, we should not be resting. We haven't done anything for ourselves to be resting. See, because when I rest, it's because I've been working my tail off for me and all the things that I have to do. And I'll tell you, I'm one of those ones that go to bed tired because I work all day long, whether I'm working out, whatever it is I'm doing. But I don't never want to go to bed tired because I'm only working for the benefit of other people. And that's kind of what we are doing. So let's take the rest from helping everybody else because they don't help us. And let's really pick up the slack to help ourselves. So I hear what you're saying. Brother Jonell says, to quote the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, wise advice and warning, stay out of large crowds of white people. And he got to tell me twice. Okay. Gypsy Hustle, I hope I said that right. How you doing? It says nothing will change their plans, just stay out the way. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have no desire to be doing any of that. Let me skip down a little bit so I can catch up.
And can I add to this? Whatever this protest is about, and I think it's BS personally, that's me personally. At the end of the day, what are Blacks going to benefit from? We're at the bottom of the economic scale. So even like, remember I told you guys a long time ago, when you're at the bottom of an economic scale, it doesn't matter if there's a king. It doesn't matter if there's a dictator. It doesn't matter because you're at the bottom. You are the foundation of the system. That's why all these other groups come here and they elevate themselves above us, because the system was founded on Black people being at the bottom. So we have nothing to lose. We have nothing to be afraid of when other types of dictators and tyrants come into play. You can't be more tyrannical than what's been done to Black people here in this country. So why is everybody so concerned? The only thing that we could do is better our situation and move up. We can't go any lower than where we're at in this economic system.
Deep one for life. Speaking of for life, I had the pleasure of going to an Ice Cube concert here in Houston. And when I tell you, oh, he still got it, baby. He still got it. I'm telling you, this man did not miss a beat, a bar, none of that. He didn't have to have no whole bunch of people up there dancing with him. Maybe just going bar for bar for bar. And I was going right there with him. Anyway, let's get to this comment. Why is this lady cosplaying FBA? First of all, I never claimed to be FBA. I am Black American. I got roots all the way back to South Carolina in the 1700s and probably further than that. So I don't need to cosplay something that I am. And see, that's why I don't get involved in the whole ADOS and FBA stuff, because y'all like little gang members trying to rep your set, but you don't own the corner. And you're going to try to call me off of being not being FBA? No, I'm not FBA. Right? I don't get down with the get down like y'all, but I am Black American through and through, and I guarantee you I've probably been that longer than you. Anyway, Tahada, how you doing? He says, I was in Food Line getting food. Okay. Michael, how you doing? Says, a point taken. I know I'm so behind, so I'm just going to say hello to everybody. Dear self, how you doing? Dwayne, what's going on with you? Kevin, how you doing? K-Dog in the building. Let's see, Crystal, Rose, Dwayne, Walt, how you doing? He says, amen, Donovan, is something he said. Buckhorse in the building. You holding out DC for us. How's it going? Let's see. The 1312156. How you doing? Says Demetri, you left Cali, but the West Side is still in you. Enjoy your strength.
I pulled her card a long time ago. Once upon a time in the projects.
Yes, indeed. West Side till I die. Wow, but thank you. Anyway, let's go down. Let's see. J Rock, how you doing? Says, stop it. You know the response to Black people protesting would have had police unrest, and not mention we spoke up at the voting polls in 2024. Stop, boy. I agree with you. I said I'm not going to be out there. I'm not saying we need to be out there, but I'm saying stop bragging about not being out there and our communities look the way they do. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we should be out there. I'm saying we should be in there for us, right? Because we have been protesting, even with the George Floyd protest. Who did that benefit? That didn't benefit us. All we got is Kente clause, right? And, you know, the Congressional Black Caucus and some of the other people, Nancy Pelosi, for God's sake, she got down on one knee. That's what we got. And they told us, don't worry now, Maxine and all of them, we got it from here. Just let us go. Then we ain't got nothing from it. That right there, for Black Americans, was probably one of the biggest fumbles that we can think. Never mind Donovan's Dallas Cowboys, but that was the biggest fumble because we allowed the leadership there in Washington to tell us, oh, don't worry about it. We got it. We had everybody's attention and we got rocked right back to sleep. And then we ran ourselves to the polls and voted for the Democrats. And look what they did. They opened up the floodgates and allowed all the immigrants to come in here. And then that's why Trump, a large reason that he got back in office, because a lot of people were like, nah, get somebody else to do it, especially Black people. They were going to continue, even with Kamala, and I'm going to continue to say this, continue on with the benign neglect of Black people. So I don't need to stop nothing because I never told y'all to start.
Right. And can I add, remember that isn't the first time that happened. There was a time before the Black Lives Matter happened where everybody was out there in the streets doing that. Remember Occupy Wall Street and all this other stuff that gave rise to a Barack Obama, because people were so pissed off that they said, remember that meeting between Hillary and Obama in Baltimore? They rented out the whole hotel. And that's where they told Hillary, we're going to go with this guy because the country is focused and they want heads. And they said, we're going to put this Black man in there because we had never seen anything like that.
I have to slow down when you say that.
Oh, sorry.
You said they want heads.
No, okay, sorry. Heads. Right. The people are all upset. And y'all see where her mind is, right? But anyway, we had never seen anything like that, right? Even if Obama didn't win the presidency, the mere fact that this was the first time a Black person was nominated on a major ticket was the distraction. And thus, he won. 8 years went by. What a coincidence. As soon as Obama's term is up, Hillary Clinton is the nominee. Isn't that strange, you guys? Even though Bernie made up 60 points behind to almost beat her, and then they had to cheat Bernie out of the nomination. So, you know, This is the game that's played over and over again. And in the 8 years of Obama, once again, we're sitting here thinking, we got a black person that looks like us. He gonna do for us. This is our time. And what did he do? Gay rights, dreamers, this, that, and the other. When it came down to black people, I just ran out of time right here. So, I got to do all these other things I got to do. He was supposed to do Roe versus Wade and codify that into law on day one. Didn't do any of that. So this is the playbook.
We got Juneteenth holiday. Yeah. We already had it in a sense, right? And, like I said, if it didn't come with no money, we didn't really, we was already doing that, and now everybody else gets off with a day with pay, and depending on the state or whatever, your job, they ain't even got to honor that. So we already had that. So that was really just symbolic. And I know you're joking, Matt, how you doing? Said, I agree with what we are doing. I agree. What are we doing to move the ball? Tired of hearing about we not in it. We're not doing anything anyway. Yeah, I don't want to run us all the way low. We do certain things. Okay, like for the example, the Target boycott. A lot of people attribute that to black people. Now, I didn't boycott Target, right? Because I'm not going to help white women get more of what they already got, because that's who it was going to benefit. So we do some things, but we really are not doing it to benefit us. It's to say, see, we could do it, but you're doing it for everybody else. That's why I have a problem with the black woman being called the backbone of the Democrat Party. She's the Democrat Party backbone, but she can't even bring a bone home for her own people. She can't even put a bone on the table for her own people. I'm on TikTok, and I see a lot of black women crashing out about these food stamps, because if they don't get back in there and pass a spending bill, then the food stamp program is going to, go dormant until they do. Which means that those benefits will not go out. And I've seen quite a bit of black women, and I don't know if that's just my algorithm. I'm talking about, what am I going to do? Do we need to feed our children and stuff? So it's like, wait a minute. Now I don't know if those women voted for the Democrats, but 92% of black women who could voted for Kamala. So it's like, you allow them to call you the backbone of the Democrat Party, but then you get on TikTok and cry about not being able to feed your babies if if you don't get your food stamps or whatever. So it's like, what did the Democrats do to make you better off, since you've made everybody else better off? These are just questions that I have. Easy says, D, what happened to George Floyd Act? Yeah, y'all know what happened. Kamala went to Tyree Nichols' funeral and said, I'm going to go back to Washington and I'm going to tell Joe Biden to sign it. Maybe she forgot, and maybe he forgot. Maxwell, thank you so much. Love and appreciate you for that. Let's see who else. The Black Empowerment. How you doing? Says FBA. The Black Empowerment. Okay, King Shaw, how you doing? He says they want us to fight with them, but don't want to share the pie. When it's cut, they get slices, but don't give us a single slice, but want us to fight for them. Nah, yeah. I mean, and I think I'm starting to hear a lot of, especially white people, start to speak about that. Like, nah, we need to get out there, leave black people alone. They've done enough, type of thing. And what they're saying is they've done enough for us, but now we need to have a conversation with ourselves and say we need to do enough for ourselves. Enough of helping everybody else. Slim Slammer, how you doing? Says, I had in-house chores to attend to. I mean, I was very busy too. I get it. Sherry, how you doing? William, what's going on with you? Says, no kings. Yeah, and again, the no kings means that, America's not supposed to have a king, but some people will argue that it's starting to look like a monarchy, I guess. Trump is starting to resemble a king. Some people are arguing that it's starting to look like more of a regime, than a democracy, because we know that's loosely, right? Or even a republic, so they say. So, yeah.
Yeah, can I add to that, though? Again, what do I tell you guys all the time? Use your common sense. If this was a regime or a dictatorship, you wouldn't be able to protest, number one. You wouldn't be able to have free speech. People would be jailed. The slave patrols would be walking around. None of that has happened. Like I said, this is another example of something that Democrats put out there to put you in fear. You just use your common sense. What is the first thing a dictator does when they come into power? They suppress the freedom of speech and the press. Then your basic freedoms. So don't, again, Dimitri, what kills me is We are so easily fear-mongered into voting against our own interests, not even knowing what is going on. And yet our talented nine, or the divine nine, or who these people are that are supposed to be the top tier of our community, sit in silence and say nothing. As a matter of fact, some of them are just as ignorant as the rest of us.
Yeah, and as I always say, that was partially our fault. Starjammer, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. That was partially our fault. And hello to everybody that's come on here. As far as the Divine Nine, I don't want to run them all the way low. They do some things, I guess, I don't know, in the community, but that was our fault that we conceded our thought process or being a free thinker to letting them do it, you know. And we know why and who propped them up as being the spokespeople for the rest of Black Americans or Black people in America. They were considered the talented 10th, and the rest of us, I guess, was just the 90% that eat. Of course, we know what happened with that, and we've kind of been operating like that ever since. But a lot of us have started to wake up, realizing who the Boule really are, and they were just really gatekeepers over Black people and a whole host of other things. So they got the little extra butter on their biscuits to do the bidding of white supremacy, for lack of better words. Who else haven't I seen? There's a lot of y'all on here. 109 baby girl, how you doing? Says my buck. Okay. Jamal, he says Black women don't consider themselves the same as their men, and we should, right? Because all them other people out there, they together with they man, whether they like Brad or not. Oh, Brad gets on my nerves, but I love him. You know, she ain't going nowhere. MM, thank you so much. I appreciate you. He says the No Kings March was a flop. The only people showed up were old white hippies. Even the news acknowledged this fact. Like we listened to the news, right? That's not true. There's a whole host of people showed up. As I said, I had boots on the ground there in San Francisco, and it was a lot of people. It just wasn't a lot of us out there. But as I said, it might be because in San Francisco, in California in general, it's not a lot of Black people. So I don't know. I just didn't see any in the footage that was sent to me. But there was a lot of people out there. They're out there now, and I guess these protests are getting larger and larger because more and more people that do not look like us are starting to feel the weight of this administration. They're learning that Trump didn't love them either. Whether you worked either had a federal job, whether you're going to get some benefits cut, whether it's food stamps, Medi-Cal, Obamacare, whatever it is, a lot of people are like, hey, I got skin in the game now. See, it was fun in games voting for a party when I knew that party was going to harm other people. Because let's keep it apart. For the most part, white people been safe. No matter who's been in office, white people from all walks of life, for the most part, have been safe. But now that you get an oligarch, because that's what you can call Trump and his homies in Washington, they're like, we don't care about y'all. We only care about the money. And I heard somebody make a pretty good argument in that the departments that Trump and them are trying to cut are the ones that he cannot financially gain from. I'll say allegedly. And once I thought about it, I was like, that may be something. So I don't know. But a lot of other people are starting to say, yeah, this stuff is happening to us, you know. Let's see. Tahada says Kamala got drunk and forgot. Maybe it was both. Common Man, how you doing? Says the Black Congressional Caucus is in the White House to keep Negroes in their place during slavery. It was the preachers only. Now they're getting Black religiously and politically. Oh, absolutely. But as I always say, the Democrats and the Black church go hand in hand. If you ask me, they the same. They keep Black people on a plantation, whether it's religious plantation or it's a political plantation. Chaz, how you doing? Says no flexing. Okay. And I'm gonna catch back up, y'all. I just want to make sure I get to the bottom. Dear Self says it's propaganda. Most Black women work. It's all the others who got major benefits. Yes, be on TikTok. But as usual, they push our ish to the forefront. Yeah, and that's what I said. Maybe it's my algorithm. I don't follow a lot of white people, but I know that there are white people, and there'll be most white people who will be affected by the food stamps not being deposited if they do not sign a bill or whatever it is. Pamela, how you doing? So that's a doggone shame. The Democrats are holding the food stamps, Medicaid hostage until the illegal aliens can get benefits. Now that's treason. And again, I want to just say this. I know everybody keeps saying that. It has not been founded that that's true. And they keep saying it's not true. A lot of experts saying it's not true about, them wanting to hold out to get medical benefits for illegal aliens. Now on the state level, that may be the case. but they can't. It's not even law in Washington on the federal level that they can do that. But, you know, they're American people, and I'm just telling you what's out there being said, not necessarily my opinion, that will be harmed by the Obamacare cuts. So that's what they're saying they're holding out for. And like, I mean, we got to tell both sides of the story. People are mad, and I'm not a Democrat nor Republican, but people are mad that the Republicans are holding out because they don't, I mean, the Democrats are holding out because they don't want the Republicans to cut the Medicare and all of that. But nobody's crashing out about the Republicans giving Argentina sound like it's going to be about $40 billion when it's all said and done. But you got people who ain't getting a paycheck that's supposed to go to work while the people in Washington figure it out. It's just a mess, right? Gearhead, how you doing? Says the moron on the left actually held a No Kings protest at the U.S. Assembly in London, where they actually have a king. Yeah, so they did do that, but they call it a No Tyrants protest. That's what they call theirs. Raw Media, how you doing? Says it's also more biblical. And I'm sorry, I'm so behind. Damien, you're saying amen, sir, to something that Donovan said. Power in reps, how you doing? Says say something about Charlie Kirk and see your A get fired. Where I'm gonna get fired from? But I know you're saying in general, right? Yeah, I don't even think they care about that anymore. I think a lot of them on the right just use Charlie Kirk as something to be mad about, because a lot of people did lose their jobs or whatever for talking about Charlie Kirk. But then those young Republicans, right, when they got caught up in that group chat saying a whole host of things, the same people who got people fired for saying stuff about Charlie Kirk are saying, what's the big deal? They're kids. And these people are like average age of 30, but they kids. April, how you doing? Says, what's an FBA foundational Black American? Angela, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Gloria, what's going on with you? CJ, he says, and how you doing? They better ask Kim Jong-un what a dictatorship is. Laugh out loud. Well, you know, a lot of people are saying it looks like we may be getting there. Amina, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Michelle, did I say hello to you? Says he has clamped down on free speech. He has told the reporters to sign an agreement that they will not release any news unless it is approved by the Pentagon. People who spoke out about Kirk were fired. Yeah, only one news organization, I think it's OAN or something like that, signed that waiver and agreement to be in the Pentagon. Everybody else, even Fox News, said, no, we ain't doing it, homie.
Right. Now, see, there we go. The president and any organization, just like the military and any federal organization, state or government, your city government, they can put in a policy against the news media and do that, right? Like you said, Fox didn't sign it, whatever the deal is. What I'm trying to say is this. We take a little thing like that and we say, oh, he's clamping down on free speech. Free speech is in the Constitution. There's no way that could ever happen on a global scale. So when you say, well, in my opinion, when somebody says he's clamping down on free speech, don't just say an organization. So if I was working for the Demetra K Corporation and she says, I don't want anybody speaking to the press, whatever the deal is she clamping down on my free speech? Yes, when I'm working within her organization, I have to abide by within that organization. But as free speech, once I leave that organization, I can do what the hell I want. So again, we take a lot of stuff out of context and we run with it. The White House and the press secretary in that little place said, this is how the press will conduct itself. As a matter of fact, Ronald Reagan was one of the first presidents to rein in the press and put them in certain rules of conduct while on White House grounds. So yes, he's suppressing free speech within the organization of the White House. But as a whole, as American people, that's just not true.
So you're saying that there's no, they're not suppressing freedom of speech for people, American citizens as a whole?
Yeah, as a whole, they're not doing that because how could the government do that?
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. The Department of Homeland Defense, I think that's what it is. Right now on Twitter, they are pulling the full weight of their power on a Black kid who made a TikTok. The TikTok was doctored, by the way, and everybody's proven that it's doctored, but Christy Nome, I guess, took and posted the video. Somebody put over that he was saying that because it was a trend back in the day when I guess Iran was supposed to be doing something over here, and they was like, well, we gonna unite type of thing, and they had little ski mask and stuff on. But somebody doctored and says that we gonna take them up, the cartel up on a $50,000 offer. So she posted and talking about we gonna find you. And so a lot of people, even a lot of politicians are saying, you can't do that. So you threatened some little black kids in Chicago over TikTok that was obviously doctored. So that's suppression of speech, it's freedom of speech. Now, I'm not saying he should necessarily be able to say that, but he did not say that. So, right. I mean, what are we doing?
No. And again, Homeland Security has a job to do when it comes to threats to the United States within. And I'm not defending it. But again, there's a process to how they do it. Have they necessarily suppressed his freedom of speech? No, not right now. They're investigating.
I'm just going in here and say, I don't say it, in my opinion, they are suppressing freedom of speech, okay? You got people who ordinarily would be able to say what they wanted, for lack of better words, without, because there's certain things you can't say, like go out and holler fire and stuff. But yeah, people are losing their jobs. And yes, the government has participated in finding people losing their jobs and a whole lot of stuff. So let's not lie to kick it. There is some suppression, whether it was on the left or whether on the right. They both do it.
Right. No, exactly. But again, right now on this platform right here, on YouTube, can we say certain things and do certain things like that? Are we allowed to do that? No, we can't, because that's goes against the community guidelines and our freedom of speech, does it not?
Is it private or public?
It's private.
Right. So what's the difference between the federal government and the Constitution and a private business?
Well, again, when you're federal government, it's public. But however, just like the Washington, D.C. area, oh, he can't send troops to D.C. Wait. Let me finish. Let me finish. There are certain areas and places where that is kind of tweaked out. You just can't go, because the White House is a public area. It is a public area.
White House.
But you get my point. That there are certain areas you cannot go. You can't go on a military base and say, well, I'm an American and I pay for the taxes here and I demand to get on the base. You can't do that. There's certain areas you can't do certain things. And again, if you want to challenge it, you are free to challenge it in court. But again, at the time, the investigations and all this other stuff, we have to look at the difference between where we can go and what we can do in certain areas in regards to, what do they call it? I'm losing my track of mind right here. National security, or if you're a security threat or whatever the deal is. And that's what it comes down to. They always use that it's a security threat. I'll give you a good example. POS Corey Jackson, right here where I live. He will not meet with me or any resident because of he deems it a security threat to him and his staff. So his office, a public office, is closed. This is what they do. They want your votes, and then they shield themselves away from the people who they are accountable to. This is what they do.
And so I've seen a whole bunch of comments. And KJ, how you doing? Says it's because of leaks. Who's doing the leaking? Pete Heck says there's done a lot of leaking, and he's supposed to be, the Secretary of War, Department of War, right? And he's the one that's leaking it. Let's tell the truth. Right now, are there leaks? Where the leaks coming from? He's one of them that's leaking it. Right. So, I mean, you mad at people or whatever. You're trying to limit what the press can say or whatever. Like, are you cutting the press off? Or are you actually cutting yourself off because you may just not know what you're doing? You know what I mean? So let me get down here. Who else haven't I seen? Lanisha, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says, hi, Demetra. I appreciate your platform, Donovan. What you're saying is not true about Second Amendment. Okay. Gadget, How you doing? Says, thank God y'all at the new Black Media. Well, thank you. Jay, hello. How you doing? Long time no see. Says, a lot. Still pouting about Kamala. No Harris lost. Okay. Donovan, do you want to say something? Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Oh, no. Second Amendment. I didn't say anything about the Second Amendment. I said freedom of speech.
Yes, Second Amendment is about the pew pew. Princess, priceless princess. How you doing? Says, if you know the block is hot, why test the waters? Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. Like I said, I'm not going to be out there protesting. That protesting ain't what I do necessarily. Like I said, I like to do it with my money. Cash, how you doing? I think I said the right. Cash Mahal. I'm saying your name right, so I won't. Your names are all screwed around. It's something with YouTube algorithm, so I apologize. It says the powers that be had more than 400 years to put us in a righteous place in this land, but decided to spend lots of money and effort to keep us at the bottom. Let this place fall and do not save it. Yeah, well, it ain't up to us to save no way. We couldn't save it if we wanted to, because it is what it is. It has been written, right? Babylon will fall. So there's nothing we can do about it.
Hey, let me read this one by Arnaba. She says, you can't say anything against Israel without getting heat. Fact.
That's on me, but that's a man.
Oh, yeah. But fact. That's a fact.
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, but again, like I said, don't get me started, right? I just cool down. And Arneba, I'm not saying this about you, but I'm just saying, yeah, we can't say nothing. They own this. They own it. What do we own? Where's the black platform? Where's the black social media platform? We can get on here and we can we can yip our yappers and say what we want to say. Where's that platform at?
African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store.
Yeah, but we like pulling teeth. Let's see, who else haven't I seen? And Brother Salam, how you doing? Let's see, Patty Brown building. How you doing? Let's see. I know I'm so far behind. I want to make sure I get everybody. We got about another 15 minutes here. Angela, you says, my sister and I had a device saying it was recording us. Then it stopped and said conversation would be stored internally. What's that about? On what? What is that saying that on? On here? It's saying that? I don't know. And what device is that? And, to be honest with you, we're being recorded everywhere. Apex, how you doing? It says, oh, gee, golly, Willigers. Did we miss the mayonnaise festival again? Shucks. Well, I don't know if we missed it. We just chose not to go to it, right? I never even crossed my mind. I thought about going to get some footage and maybe trying to talk to people, but I just never got around to it because, like y'all, I have some other things to do. But I did have somebody in California get some footage for me.
So Demetra, let's ask the real question here. What, in your opinion, what do you think Black people should do moving forward and in the future when situations like this arise? What do you think we should do?
I mean, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean? We've been told what to do. We've been told, up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. That came from Marcus Garvey. Again, I'm going to keep saying this. I know a lot of y'all don't like it, but I don't care. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us, do for self, accept your own, be yourself, do for self. Dr. Claude Anderson told us to practice group economics. Hell, Ice Cube, who I went and saw on Friday, he even made a contract for Black America. We got mad and kicked the brother in his tailbone, and he ain't said another thing about helping Black Americans since. So I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. It's just, there's all of these blueprints out there, but which one do we want to follow? Perhaps the white man need to come up with one. White man need to come up with one. The Negroes, y'all need to do A, B, C, and D, and we'll do it. Right? It's not hard. Stop giving 97% of the money that we see in our community every year to everybody else. We got 3% that we live on, if you want to call it that, and then talk about what we don't have. But that money we giving to everybody else, $2 trillion, mind you, they said by the end of this year. But that money we give to everybody else, they eating greedy while we sitting up here begging to eat. So it's the same thing. Keep our money at home, build, buy, and wherever Black, wash, rinse, repeat, like everybody else does. We got to unlearn that because we've been taught not to do that. That's what civil rights was about. It wasn't about us having rights. As Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the slave master ain't going to make the slave equal to them, because then where is the dynamics? Who's the slave and who's the master? So we need to do what we've been told to do forever. It's never going to be any different. There's not going to be some magic to come say, oh, I need to stop giving everybody. You just got to do it.
So do you think one of the tenets of what you're saying is Black men and Black women need to stop with the foolishness and start working together versus working against each other and trying to be out here on the streets by ourselves?
I mean, that to me, that's a given too, you know. But that's another thing. We've been taught division. Of course, that division was taught to us from the plantation, and we got it together after the plantation during your Black Wall Streets and things like that. And of course, yeah, a lot of people like to cite the feminist movement. That was a very small part of it. And I would even like see people don't even want to talk about the things that go on nowadays with this whole manosphere and this divestor fear and all stuff. That stuff was designed. That was put back into our community. The minute they thought that Black men and women were starting to love each other again, here come the manosphere. And I know it's not Black per se, but Black people participated in that a lot. Or the divestor fear, where the Black women didn't want to be with Black men. They wanted to go get a white man or something like that. And so we started getting back into that, where we had to be like, hey, you know what? Let's shun this, because the people that's more than likely pushing it, they got a man and a woman at home, and they put their resources together and they build. Why they telling us that we don't need to be together? So yeah, I mean, but again, a lot of that stuff is just a given. Gary, how you doing? Said the Democrats already had their king. His name is Joe Biden. He was chosen for the people. They tried to do the same with Kamala Harris, no primary. I mean, they're all dictators. They want to be, right? They're all of them, whether they're on the left, whether on the right, they're all dictators. And what we forget is the American people are the boss, but we concede our power to a few people in Washington. And we keep reelecting them to keep kicking us in the behind. So at some point, we got to say it's our fault. Stanley, how you doing? Says no forgiveness for our and Yahweh's enemies. Okay. Big Steve, how you doing? Says, does Black Planet still exist? I think it does. I don't know. I ain't never been on there. My mama had an account though. Mission Visions, how you doing? Long time no see. Vanessa, thank you so much for that love and appreciate you. Says, why is the government shut down and everything else keep on ticking like normal? It says everything needs to take a pause. Our government only controls the money that they divvied up. Well, the government is supposed to control the money per se, but I don't know. This is like Trump's third shutdown for the first time he was in office and this time. So what it is hubris in regards to Congress. They want to be in control while the American people get screwed. You know, while the shutdown is going on, they're not saying you ain't got to pay no taxes till we figure this out. They're still taxing you every which way but loose. So I don't know. Being Forever, how you doing? He says the country will eventually fall, but it won't be FBA's fault. China will be the big buyer of this country. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it would be our fault, but I get what you're saying. OG TV, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who else haven't I seen? Just kind of want to go down a little bit. Neo, how you doing? Says Yvette Carnell has a book in print for reparations. Okay. I didn't know that she had a book, but okay. Y'all know how I feel about that. I won't get into it. Anthony, how you doing? Let's see. Damon, how you doing? Long time no see. Where have you been? You been under a rock somewhere? You been hiding out? But thank you. It's always nice to see you. Lene, how you doing? Says Dr. Boyce Watkins has the Black Enough platform. Not sure if it's still active. Yeah, I had an account on there. I was on there when he first built it. It was just kind of, it had a lot of kinks and stuff in it. So I don't know if it's still up and running or not. It's been years, I will admit, ashamedly, that I have not gone on there in a couple of years.
But doesn't Dr. Umar have a platform? He's always telling you to hit the Cash App and all that other stuff.
I don't know if he has one, you know, but if he did have one, would we join it? You know? Bernard, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says, thank God I'm independent. Hey, I'm independent too. Back My Feeling says it would be a nice gesture with Black women walked away from the family court system and cancel all the cases against Black men. That will get many Black men to rethink how they feel about Black women. I'm on the fence with that one. Yeah, I think the system does do a job on a Black man. And I'll tell you, I know from experience, because I do know Black men that have to fight the system. But I think that the system unfortunately exists because some people, not just Black men, but and not even because there's women who are in child support. I told you I was put on child support. I didn't pay, but there's a lot of people who have to be forced to pay, right? So that's kind of why it exists. In a perfect world, we don't make it. We can't stay together. Hey, you know what? We didn't make it. We got these kids. Let's figure out how to financially take care of them without having to get the white man involved. Wouldn't that be nice? Hey, Tisha, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Tidbits, what's going on with you? Shake 'em Diggs, how you doing? Says black folks have to stop blaming Joe Biden and the Democrats. Republicans aren't any different. The lack of unity in our main reason we're not building wealth. Absolutely. We can't keep blaming either party, because at what point do we blame ourselves? I don't know.
And that's always been the issue. I say this on my podcast. At the end of the day, I don't care if you are a hardcore Democrat and the Democrats is your God and you love the Democrats because they give you this, they give you that, whatever. I don't care. If you're a Republican, you hate black people, you want people in chains, you want to go back to the 1800s, whatever the deal is. The fact of the matter is, a Donald Trump rose twice. And at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, how did a Donald Trump, if you believe he's a dictator or not, rise twice in your lifetime? Guess what? You are at fault because you weren't paying attention to what is going on. And I'm saying on this show, and I say on all the shows, are you attending your city council meeting? Are you attending your planning commission meeting? Demetra, right? I was driving down Sunnymead Boulevard, and let me show you how ignorant people are and what's going on. Why would you put a weed shop right next to a liquor store? To me, that's a recipe for disaster.
So you can get you some drink with your smoke.
But again, here people are now complaining about it. But if they had gone to the planning commission, they would have seen where this project was going, and it was proved in that area. Again, we show up after the shovels and the project has already started, and we want to complain like Miss Jackson that came in there doing what they're doing. So a rise of a Donald Trump, and it's funny, Michael Jackson said it, you got to start with the man in the mirror. Look at yourself. Donald Trump is here because you weren't paying attention. You got too comfortable. And I say this to myself all the time. As much as Demetra and I, we've been doing this for 8 or 9 years, and we've been in the wilderness. The new black media has been in the wilderness yelling and screaming like Noah, like John the Baptist, whatever you want to analyze it to. And people are surprised. And we were telling people what was going on, but they refused to listen. Very sad.
Absolutely. Trey says, because we're 13% of the population, laugh out loud. It was proven Hispanic men won Trump the vote along with with white women. That is true. They overwhelmingly voted for him, and look what they got.
But what you're forgetting in that equation is 15 to 18% of black men and women did not vote for the Democrats. When the black people vote in a 91% or more capacity for the Democrats, they win.
Chulindra. Y'all, you see how y'all say your names are kind of smashed together? Well, how you doing? Says the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, Allah will help those who will help themselves. There you go. You know, we can't keep waiting for the Democrats or the Republicans or anybody outside of ourselves to do for us. We're supposed to help ourselves, and that is 100% right. Right? It goes along with the faith without the works is dead. It's like, yeah, you can have some faith, but what is you doing in the process, right? David, how you doing? Say yes, sir. And Corey, what's going on? He says it's our fault that we're not building. Yep. Let's see, Eminem, you say the Democrats are trying to make the black vote powerless by replacing black people with illegals. This was their plan. It was, but it didn't happen, right? Easy said double chemical dependency, right? The liquor and the weed. Zambaro, I hope I said the right, says no people voted for Trump. That's why he won. I mean, and that's true. He won because people voted for him. I mean, there is no other science to that, right? Jamal, you say stop voting. Doesn't matter. Only special people think their votes matter. Well, you should vote on the state and local elections because that's where the effect on you is the most prevalent. Not saying that the federal doesn't have a big effect, but your mayor has a lot of say so. The judges, the DAs, the sheriffs, all of them have a lot of say so over your very direct life. If you don't know anything about the DA in your town, especially in regards to black people, you know, and what kind of conviction rate they have with black people. I know in most cases, like it was in Riverside County, where I'm from, it was like 97%. Or they get people to take these, you know, plea deals and things like that, and especially for a lot of things they didn't do. So that's the kind of stuff you need to know about. Those people are elected in a lot of cases. Do you want to elect somebody who just throwing a book or trying to at black people just so they can mark something off on their little thing like I got another one? So we should vote.
Yeah, and I'm a believer too. Like I said, I'm at fault too. I wasn't paying. I'm thinking everything is great. Oh, I'll just be a Democrat for life. I went to my last city council meeting, Demetra. That road that's behind my house, I got the city to take responsibility and liability for that road. I have saved my community over $1 million, and I haven't even sat in an elected seat because I'm participating. I'm not trying to give myself a pat on the back. What I'm trying to tell you guys is you cannot rely on these thieves that you vote for to do what's right. Once you vote for them, they're working for the next election in a higher office. They could care less what you have to say. You have to show up and show out. Demetra, is it not true? And Walter can attest to this, that when my name is mentioned in this local area to a politician, they turn ghost white.
Yeah, and they was like, meeting's over. Okay, meeting's over. Rio, how you doing? Says anybody thinks their vote doesn't matter is a low IQ. It definitely matters on the state and local level. That's because that's how you get your Congress people, right? Your senates and your representatives, they come from the state and local levels. Your governors, that's where they come from. So you should show up for that because they're the ones that will go to Washington and hold the president and whoever else accountable. They'll say, hey, you know what? Let's make sure that we're swearing in the right justices there at the Supreme Court, or the right secretaries, or the directors. Those are the people that help make those decisions, right? So it matters. It really does.
Yeah, there's a reason why your direct vote, one person for like the Senate and Congress. Notice there, there's one vote, whatever. But then when you come to the presidency, you've got the electoral college. And I think the reason that was put up was the mere fact that they didn't want the unknowing public to elect a popular person that's going to get up there. The people that are in control, wherever they are, they want to control who's going to sit in that seat.
Absolutely. Virtual reality says a guest speaker. Well, Donovan's not really a guest. He's a permanent fixture on the show. He says the Black Yul Brynner is very intelligent. He is. Says I have learned a lot from him this evening. I'm trying to find his page. I put his information in the description box where you can find them. So he does have a channel. You can find it in the description box. But absolutely. Let's see. And Sister Shirley says, I don't know who to vote for in New York. I don't think we got any good choices. Well, you have Silva, who's running on a Republican, Curtis Silva. You have Zoran Mondani, who's the Democrat. And then you have Andrew Cuomo, who is, I guess he's an independent. I don't know what he is. I don't know. I would imagine, but, who is more aligned to what it is you want to happen. I mean, if you know anything about Andrew Cuomo, he's got kind of a seedy past there. I don't know. So if you don't have that much longer, right? It's next month they'll be voting. Let's see, who else haven't I seen? Vanessa, you say I saw you, but you say AIPAC chooses the president in retrospect. Yeah, and a lot of people are fighting against that creative mindset. How you doing? Facts Not Feeling says, let's be clear. The reason why the majority of us blacks are working poor is not because it's our fault. It's because the system we live under designed laws and policy to keep us at the bottom and poor. Yes, there's systemic and institutional racism. We're never going to say that doesn't matter, but there's a lot of things that we could do to help ourselves along. There is, and I believe, and I know a lot of other people believe that if there's some things that we do for ourselves, the system will eventually say, all right, Black people, especially the Democrat, right? The Democrat Party, they are notorious for dangling that carrot in front of us. If you would, if you should, if you just do this, that, and the other, you might, coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda. And we keep on going for it. And then we do for ourselves. We can say, a Democrat, keep your funky carrot. We don't want it. We don't really like carrots like that anyway. Then they'll start to say, okay, well, we're going to have to start really doing something for them because they just don't even depend on us anymore at all. So, yeah, there is systemic and institutional racism.
And real quick, Demetra, I know we got to get out of here, but let's go another 5 minutes because I want your opinion on this. Gavin Newsom just formed a reparations bureau, right, to distribute the money, whatever. Now, how many of you guys have heard about that? Gavin Newsom, who never got the bill that the Black Caucus here in California never even presented it to him and never even made it out of, they didn't bring it to the floor, never made it to his desk. He has now created a bureau of, reparations, whatever the deal is. Now, Demetria, have you ever been to and you guys, have you ever signed up for a program and you didn't know what the outcome of the program is going to be? So let's say there's a social agency and they say, hey, sign up for this and you can get housing, you can get this, you can get that, you can get this. But notice they didn't give you any specifics on how much of housing you're going to get for how long. They didn't give you any specifics to it. So Gavin Newsom just formed this shell of a house with nothing in it. What do you think was the point of doing that?
It was hope and change. It's the hope and change you can believe in, right? That was Obama's. It was a hope and change. That's all that.
Would that be dangling another dangling carrot, right?
Yeah, but again, we like chasing carrots. Ain't nobody gonna dangle a carrot if you don't chase it, right? In order for there to be something dangling, there's got to be something chasing it. So when we stop chasing the carrots, they'll stop dangling it. They knew that. That's why I said it. I know y'all said that. Hey, Capcom, how you doing? I know y'all said that Yvette Carnell wrote a book, and I didn't know she wrote a book. I imagine it's nice and stuff. But she, along with the ADOS group, and somebody asked me, I saw in the comment section of a video I did last week, can you tell me where the ADOS group co-signed what Gavin was doing? So you put the link in there and stuff, so you can go look. You can find it on Google. But it's a carrot. So back to that, I mean, ADOS, they signed up for the carrot, right? There was no money on none of those bills. Some of those bills was for everybody else too. If they decided to do that, they actually labeled them non-descendants. That non-descendants also could get in on some of those bills. Now, of course, we know that Gavin Newsom said, I'm not signing none of those. In fact, they call it a veto. He vetoed 5 of them. Although we did get the Crown Act where you can wear your head nappy and be happy at work. We got an apology, but again, none of those bills had any money on it. Oh, and then he approved the one for the agency. It doesn't say Freedmen's Bureau. I don't know if that's what there's cost, but it's an agency. But it's an agency that you won't put nothing in it because ain't no money. He vetoed all the damn bills. So what are you going to be doing in this agency? So the carrot is there because we chase it. And I've tied in the ADOS group, and I don't mean any disrespect. It's because they once they found out that he vetoed these bills, they said, oh, well, basically, we'll get him next time. We keep fighting. We keep pushing. It's like, you wasn't fighting for nothing in the first place. You was fighting for symbolism. You was fighting to chase the carrot. And so for people who don't know, this is why I'm a big advocate of knowing for yourself. You don't got to believe nothing I'm saying. Go find out for yourself. But these carrots would not exist if we didn't chase them. If we didn't have groups telling you to chase the goddamn carrot, it wouldn't exist. We're we gonna get them next time. Get what next time? A building, an agency with no money in it? Because that's what we got. What if I shave my hair bald? How does that Crown Act benefit me? Can I put an apology on my plate and eat it? No. Take your apology, as I said before, shove it where the sun don't shine. If you ain't talking about a check, then I don't want to listen to nothing you saying. So that's, and I don't want to go too far because I'm going to get in trouble. Well, who's going to check me, boo? But anyway, you have to question. Like we've questioned your Al Sharptons, your Jesse Jacksons, and all the other people who have made you tuck tail and run. What made you change your tune? What made you soften your voice a little bit when it came to defending Black Americans? For real, for real? Why? What happened to the bass in your voice? Did you get something out of it to tell Black people, oh, we'll get them next time? Don't worry, we keep fighting. What did you get? I have questions. Like I said, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. But damn it, if I'm a tool, I'd rather be a hammer, right? I have questions. What did you get to get the bass out of your voice and to tell the rest of us we'll get them next time. Get what? What we gonna get? See, when you don't ask questions, then you just settle for what people tell you. That's why I don't have no leader. The only leader I got is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and right now he ain't saying nothing because he said enough. I don't follow all these people running around the internet, and I'm not even telling nobody to follow me, which is why I don't call people followers, because I don't want nobody following me. We having a conversation, right? They say iron sharpens iron. Donovan and I don't know everything. We learn a lot of stuff from y'all, but I'm gonna impress upon y'all, right? Make sure, because I always, Donovan, what do I say? I can always tell who you follow by the things that you say. Not talking about Donovan, I'm just saying people in general. By the things people say, I can always tell who you listening to. And or that you're not getting good advice. See, we got to stop being that people that we just got the ring in our nose, right? You just lead us around anywhere and don't ask no questions. Well, they said, who is they? The society of they will tell you a whole lot of stuff that ain't true. So we got to get to the point to where, as they say, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. How do you know what they saying is the truth? How do you know that these bills that the ADOS Foundation was championing was good for us? You know why you took their word for it? Because they know you didn't read it. They knew you wasn't going to click, clack all the way down, all up and through the bill and see that they supported it. And again, they knew you wasn't going to go back and say, well, what did they just support actually? Because I see here it says also for non-descendants. What the hell they do? They didn't get no whips on their backs like our ancestors did. So why are they included in any of this? And a lot of those bills that they said we'll get them next time, they knew damn well you wasn't going to get it, because especially the educational one, because we saw Edward Blum run all up and down through the Supreme Court with the Asian students, making sure we didn't benefit from affirmative action. So that's against the law. So why would you even make a bill like that and talk about we'll get them next time? It makes no sense, but they know you ain't going to battle test it. They know you're not going to do your research, because that's one thing I wish that we as Black people would unlearn is just falling for the banana in the tailpipe. I really wish we would stop doing that. It's okay to ask questions. And you know where else we learn it from, Donovan? The church. A lot of Black people won't go up in the church and say, Pastor, I hear what you're saying, but what you doing with all this money? You think that the lightning bolt gonna strike you in the ass, or the ground gonna open up and swallow you whole if you ask the pastor? But you're told to ask the pastor. But see, we learn, oh, I can't question nothing. This person to prop themselves up as our leader, so I ain't gonna ask them nothing. And then they lead, then your ass be in Guyana drinking Kool-Aid.
Right. Or this is the pastor that had the past life, like most in our community, of some kind of criminality, scamming, pimping, drug dealing. This is the guy that's leading the Black church in a lot of scenarios. That's his turnaround. Not downing him. I'm just saying, show me a pastor in the Black community that was a rich man and gave it up to serve God. It rarely happens in the white community. So there we go.
Yeah. And again, listen, I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody, but Donovan will tell you, he'll often say to me, did you see this? Did you see that? No, I ain't see it. Did you watch it? No, I ain't watch it. I purposely don't watch other people. I guard my mind, as we're told to do, right? We're told to guard our minds and be careful of the information that we inculcate. Unfortunately, we don't do that. And so we listen to anybody. And again, y'all can probably throw me in that. I ain't saying I'm all that. You know, like I said, I always tell you to check and see what I'm saying is true. If I'm lying to y'all, it would never be on purpose, right? But I don't follow any and everybody, because I don't like what most people are saying. I only listen to a few people, and my daddy is one of them, okay? And he's 81 years old. I don't let everybody ram stuff up into my brain and all that, and I be running around sounding like a damn parakeet, just repeating stuff that they don't even know is true. So we got to unlearn that, which is why a lot of times with my content, I really like to push the envelope a little bit, because I'm not finna be one of these people up here just repeating stuff, just saying stuff because everybody else is saying it. I've never been part of groupthink. I've never been part of the crowd. I suffered from peer pressure. None of that. I never have been built that way. And at 54 years old, I'm not following no group. I don't care what it is. Now, I can agree with some of the things that's going out of those groups, but I don't agree with a lot of the dogma, if you will, that is being taught to the people. I'll give you a perfect example. That thing that I was talking about earlier about the black kid, the Department of Homeland Security put his video up saying we coming after you because it was doctored or something. Well, there was some cat on Twitter. I ain't gonna say his name. He, was in one of those groups. I ain't gonna say which one, but he was like, "Oh, well, he ain't Black American anyway. So what? They need to be." And I was like, "See, that's the lunacy I'm talking about. You're co-signing the full weight of the United States government coming down on a kid over a TikTok video because you're so indoctrinated with he ain't Black American." I don't know what the kid is, but that was his. And I would say, admittedly, I saw a lot of people getting on him like, wait a minute, what? Okay, now maybe it's going just a little bit too far.
Demetra, that was a private conversation between us together. I really don't appreciate you putting that out here on.
Nah, it wasn't you, but Magnetic, thank you so much. Long time no see. He says, "What's up, family? Sold my house back in Illinois. Shout out to you both." Well, thank you, and I hope you got a good price for it.
Yeah. And real quick, on my podcast, and Demetra tells me this all the time. A lot of you guys tell me this all the time, especially Sunlight. She tells me this all the time. It isn't what I say, it's how I say it. It's my delivery, right? And that is important. But guess what? I've tried being nice to you guys and saying, well, guys, we really got to study this. We really got to go look at the facts over here. That doesn't work in the Black community, y'all. And now it is the fourth quarter. We are at the 5-yard line and we have to score a touchdown and go for 2. So do you guys expect me, seeing how marginalized Black people are? I'm in California. It would be cheaper to give Black people in California reparations than it is to fund illegal migrants. We are less than 6% of the population in California, you guys. So what does that tell you? So my point is this. Seeing my people marginalized, do you think the voice I should be using is, well, little Jimmy, if we don't just do this, maybe we have time. You use that voice when there's plenty of time to do it. We're out of time. We're out of time. The way I see it, we're out of time. I'm not going to be nice about it. The way I get your attention, and you know how our community is, and I hate to stereotype it, we like to roll our neck and get loud and this, that, and people pay attention to that person because, number one, they look like a clown, but they command that attention, right? That's how I'm going to talk right now because we are out of time. There is no more time left. If you see what is going on, how many Black women just lost their job earlier this year? 300,000. Out of those 300,000 women in the last job, in that job report earlier, how many of them were making really good money that have bought homes, have bought cars, right? Now the government is shut down. The other Black women that didn't get laid off in that job report, they've got mortgages. You don't think the banks know? Demetra, you worked at the bank. You don't think the banks know who is Black and who's not? All you got to do is miss that mortgage payment one time. They could call in that loan. If you miss that car payment one time, they can call in that loan. They don't have to do nothing for you. You don't think I'm concerned about that? Now the government has been shut down for 3 weeks now? And I'm just supposed to be, well, little Quavius, don't worry about it. Everything will be okay. Hell to the no. You better listen to what I'm saying because, hey, they have marginalized us to where they got us right where they want us.
Yeah. And I don't know. And African Native, thank you so much for the super sticker. Love it. Appreciate you. That's a hell of a donation. So thank you. Thank you. I don't know if it'll get better. If it'll get better anytime soon. They're saying that this shutdown could go all the way till past Thanksgiving, which is next month, right? So over a month from now, because the Democrats aren't budging, the Republicans aren't budging. In fact, they said the last time the shutdown ended is because the air traffic controllers was like, okay, you get somebody else to control your airplanes, okay? We leaving. And the Republicans said, all right, that playtime is over. And they came back to the table or whatever. But as I heard somebody say, it shouldn't be up to the air traffic controllers to make Washington do its job. But yeah, it's going to get very dark for a lot of people. And it already is. Many of us, and I've passed by a food line not too long ago, and I was like, my God, I didn't even know what it was until I, really figured out what it was. It's a food line. And there's a lot of people in the line And it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. So to your point, yeah, we got to figure out what it is we need to do. You know, black men and women, you need to get back together. Stop the foolishness. Stop chasing behind or whatever it is you're chasing. Settle down to a good choice, as they say in the nation, and go build a life. Put both of your resources together. If on average the black man is making about 50,000 on average, and the black woman is making a little less than that, hell, you're looking at $100,000 a year if you get together, live a sensible life, build a savings, and like it could be done. We used to do it, but all of this is kind of by divine design, because we're gonna get back together whether we like it or not. Ain't no more city girling like that. You know what I mean? I'm independent. I want to be single. People are going to start to have those conversations again.
Well, what's the new thing for these young girls, and even the older girls? Yachting. I learned that term the last couple of days. It's called yachting or something. It's called yachting.
What's that?
The girls that go to Dubai and all that other stuff. I guess that's what it is. If I'm wrong, let me know in the chat. But have you guys heard the term yachting? I guess, who's the girl? Sweetie?
The rapper Sweetie?
Yeah, I guess. I don't really know who she is, but I was watching a channel and it was just like, what? She's doing what? So if you guys know what that term is, it is what it is.
And hello to everybody that's come on here. That's I see you. I tell you about Donovan. He be telling me stuff and I be like, what? I don't be that stuff don't be on my algorithm. I learned a lot of the new terms from Donovan. The happenings in the internet streets from Donovan. Lisa, how you doing? Says equally comfortable or equally uncomfortable. Yeah, equally comfortable or equally uncomfortable. Well, I'd rather be equally comfortable, but it's about to be uncomfortable for a whole lot of people, whether we like it or not. Bakari, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Magnet, I ain't heard of it either. Donovan be telling me stuff. I be like, nah, I ain't heard of it. Sound like it said, speaking of people getting off the internet. Yeah, is that our cue? We gotta go. So anyway, Donovan. Oh, Donovan. We are supposed to be interviewing Sister Jessica Jackson tomorrow during a podcast tomorrow. So I told her about 1:00 my time, 11 your time. It's going to be very interesting. And then we'll be back 5 p.m. Central Time to talk about, I don't know, whatever's happening throughout the day. But as always, we do love it. Bakari says, hey, we're going to wake up one way or another. There you go. We got to. We don't have a choice, right? So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Hopefully I got everybody's comment. But if I didn't, as they say in church, don't charge it to my heart, charge it to my mind. But I'll get you next time. Donovan, you got something to say before we leave? Nope. So it was Sunlight says no for Donovan. Creative Fisher says you're great. Back at you. So anyway, I love and appreciate y'all. Jermaine says y'all girls are simply water hose is crazy. Water hose is crazy.
Yeah, it's this term called yachting. I try to keep up with what the young folks are saying because I know they be talking about me. But I was like, what is this? So I guess this girl, this artist, she hasn't dropped any albums. So how is she making a living the way she's doing? And I guess she's been yachting to Dubai and places like this and selling the box. So I guess that's going to be the common thing. I don't know.
Absolutely, Brother Jonelle, self-love first. I mean, I don't know. Is this a job or something? Like, is there an app? How much they paying? I'm just playing.
Hey, sex work to sex work. If you have an OnlyFans, what is the difference? It's sex work. It's no difference.
Charlene, we were supposed to be leaving. It says, how you doing, by the way? It says, I'm in New York City. I just don't want another Dem for as mayor. I'm so over those Dems. Like it or hate it, Rudy Giuliani was one of the best mayors thus far. Really? What happened to him? Is he still with us?
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, he got the Medal of Freedom from Trump.
Did he get that lawsuit overturned?
I don't think so. I think he's still working on it.
What, he got to pay them like $100 to $200 something million?
Yeah. I think they're still working on it. Or he's gonna tie it up until he goes to the upper room,
which may not be long from now. Anyway, yes, Jerry, Democrats are not your friends, not even Obama. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.